Hello, this is Omer Ashano, jazz violins from Israel, and we're here at Night Practice Live number 12. Welcome everyone. Let's wait a couple more minutes for more people to join in. Let me add a comment here meanwhile and pin it. All right. Hello Lucy, hello Biddy Briaval and Eddie Alexi. Hello everyone. Let me grab my violin so people understand that we're playing today. Happy weekend everyone. Good to have you. So, I'm welcoming you with some Seben music or Congolese rumba music from Western Africa or Central Africa that traveled all throughout the Western and Central and Southern regions of Africa. So this is a new playlist I've made, basically as a continuation for the session, the video session of Ima Express that I just released the other day in the Beton sessions. If you haven't checked it out yet, then head over to my bio and you can have, you'll see the link there, Hello Tanibra and Online Musical Arts. So yeah, the link to the full session, the 20-minute session, it's a short set. So the full show is there on YouTube. The link is on my bio. So it will kind of explain what is this playlist because I'm basically influenced by that music. So again, if you'd like to check out the playlist, you can hit it. I call it Seben Evolution. It's a Spotify playlist. If you forget the name, just hit me up here on Instagram and I'll send you the link for it if you're interested to see the evolution of this music, starting from basically from Afro-Cuban influences over Congolese music during the 1930s, and then later on developed. Hello Laura. So that later on developed into what is known as Congolese rumba, which later on developed into soukous music, which then developed to different parts of Africa and received different names. Sungura in Zimbabwe, which is more like even more upbeat version of that music. Wemba in I think in South Africa they call it Wemba. And different names of kind of the same thing, or just variation over that Congolese rumba. So that's the playlist that we're listening to right now. You're welcome to check it out. And the session itself with my new band. If you haven't checked it out already, the link is in my bio. So yeah, the reason why I moved. Hello Glenn and Bennett. The reason why I moved, hello, another Laura Fu. Hey, thank you for joining in. If you're tuning in, I would love if you introduce yourself, guys, especially if I don't know you. I do know some of the people here already, but if you think we don't know each other, please let me know who you are, where you're from, where you're tuning in from. If you play violin, I'd love to get to know you. The reason why I moved the session for today is because I actually got my second COVID shot yesterday, which is very exciting and I'm very grateful for. But I was kind of prepared to feel terrible after the shot, and actually I felt I felt good after the shot. The side effects began today, so that's so, so that's rough. So it wasn't the best decision to move it to today, but by now I'm pretty okay. I just had kind of like suffered from like kind of fever symptoms during the day, but I feel better now. I took a nap, and I feel better, and I'm excited and happy and grateful to have got the second vaccine. I'm suffering from asthma, so this is basically how I was able to get the vaccine so early this time. Thank you very much. Yeah, from France. Awesome. Argentina. I'm glad to see people from all around, all over the place. And I know we have Lucy here, who's from New York. And now Maya is joining us from the Netherlands. Awesome. So yeah, actually, I mean, I'll see if I see that more people tune in today, and also you guys let me know if you're like the people who are already here, if you're usually free on Sunday or Saturday. Hello, Maya. Actually, I mean, if more people are available and it's easier for them to join the practice session on Sunday, I might consider moving into Sunday. I don't have anything in particular in these hours, so maybe it will be more convenient for everyone to do it on Sunday. Anyway, so yeah, so this is, if you're just tuning in and you've never been here before, this is Night Practice Live. It's basically, hello Yuda. It's basically a live practice session that I do every weekend on Saturdays normally, and yeah, I just get to share with you my practice routine, answer people's questions, show people tricks and exercises if they're wondering how to practice something or if they have any musical question. And yeah, it's mostly not around like oh, Lara is studying jazz violin in Barcelona. This is so cool. Awesome. Thank you, Yuda. You look great too, I assume. If you're here, you probably look great. I know that. So yeah, it's not really about performing these sessions. They're mostly for practicing. So don't expect me to show off all my skills and give a cool and fun performance necessarily. It's a practice session, and I try to keep it as much as possible strictly a practice session, and challenge myself too, and not just jam. Like actually have a serious practice session, like I love, but in front of the camera and kind of explaining what I do during that. So that's the point of this session. So if you guys have any questions during the session, or if there are any subjects you'd like me to cover, just let me know in the comments here. I'll do my best to answer. I think what I want to do today is do some exercises for internalizing chord changes. So doing some kind of visualization exercises with chord changes, and show you how we can play over different chord changes in a way that will help us ingrain the changes better. Thank you, Yuda. I'm sure you're handsome too. I think we'll start from a simple chord progression that I was kind of practicing the other day. It just came up. I don't know. I was just jamming. Yeah, that would be great for classical music as well. Basically, for memorizing music, it's a great tool for memorizing music. What I said about visualization, I'll explain right away. But yeah, the other day I was just jamming around and I was kind of, this simple chord progression just came up, and I think I'm gonna take that progression and try and show you guys how you can approach it and practice that to really internalize it and feel free over that form, and not so constricted in it. Okay, so let me show you. Let me just play you the chord progression first. On guitar. Okay. So it goes like this. Very easy. A minor, going to F, which is sixth, and going to C major, which is the third, and G. It depends how Yuda is excited. It depends how we interpret this chord progression, whether we think of it in the key of C major or the key of A minor. For the sake of it, let's think of it as A minor, okay? So we have tonic, A minor, going to 6, F major, going to C, which is the third, going to G, which is I guess like flat 7th, going to, it's natural 7th because we're natural minor, going back to F and back to C. And then we're doing something interesting. We're majorizing the cadence, okay? Naturally, a classical cadence in that occasion would be 4th degree to 5th degree, right? Resolving back into the tonic. That would be a perfect cadence. I'm not sure how, I can't remember the term, like the official term, but I think it's called perfect cadence, 4th degree to 5th degree resolving into 1. But in that case, I want to majorize it because it's a cool sound. So instead of playing D minor to E7, or even E minor, you could say that it's the natural 5th. But instead of having D minor and E minor, I want to have D major and E major. That resolves back to the A minor. Okay, so we have A, F, C, G, F, C, D, E, A minor, we're at the top. F, C, G, F, C, D, and back to A minor. Okay, so the first very important step in memorizing these chord changes is singing them. Okay, singing the roots. In our case, just singing the roots, and we can play them together. So, if you guys are able to play double stops on the violin, then go ahead and try to play double stops. to the best of your ability. It doesn't really matter what voicing you choose, just try to play the root and then play another, either the fifth or the third, something like that, okay? So A minor to F major to C major to G major, back to F major, back to C major, and then we're doing this cadence of D major and E major, back to A. So let's try and sing the root, okay? Da, 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 okay. So the double stops I was using, they were kind of different each time, but for A minor, I'm trying to play mostly on the lower, two lower strings on D and G. So in that case, I played A and E, which is fifth, and then the natural movement from there is playing A and F, which is the third and the root of F major. And then I can go back from F to E in order to, well, now we're in C major. So I can go basically in sixth to another sixth, E and G. And then, yeah, now I actually didn't play, in this case I didn't play the root. Let's try and stick to playing the root as well. Even though it may not be the perfect voice leading, may not sound as great, but let's try and stick to playing the root in our double stops. So A and E, and then A and F, inversion basically, and then C and E, and then G and D. And we're going back to F major, so we can play A and F. And we're going back to C major, so we can play C and E. And then we're playing D major, so I could play A and D, which is a fifth. A fourth basically, the A is lower, and then a D. And now we're in E major, so I can go a half step down with my first finger, and then I play G sharp and E, which is the tonic and third of E major. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. A minor, F major, C, G, F, C, D, E, A. Okay, now let's try and play that, sing that without the violin. So, let's snap each beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4. A, F, C, G, F, C, D, E, A, F, C, G, F, So Daryl says that the biggest struggle for him is coming up with double stops and chords. I talked about it in one of the previous night practice live sessions. I would just suggest that you first just practice types of intervals. Just practice playing different intervals, like playing a scale. For example, try to play in a G major scale in fifth. Oh, excuse me. And then try to play sixth, diatonic sixth. So G to E. And also notice that I don't practice with vibrato. Generally when I practice scales, double stops, anything, I practice playing that without vibrato. So I really teach my fingers how to reach the right spot for the right intonation, okay? And it really forces me to listen closely to what I play and fix my intonation, which is one of the most important skills that we have as violinists. Is, in order to play in tune, we have to have very quick response to what we're playing, and vibrato kind of blurs that. So I like to practice without vibrato. Sixth. So just try to work on different intervals and just get used to the shape of the intervals. That would be the first step. The second step would be to actually try and slowly figure out how to play chord changes of a simple progression, exactly like this. Take this progression. It's super easy. Remember, we start from the tonic, which is a minor. So we have 1, A minor. We're going to the 6th, which is F major. From 1 to 6 to 3 to 7 to back to 6, back to 3, back to 4 major to 5 major, and back to 1 tonic. So A minor, F, C, G, F, C, D, E, and A. Try and take that progression. Think about the chords. Always keep the chords in mind, and I would even recommend to practice doing working in proper voice leading, as much as possible. I don't intend you to know Palestrina counterpoint for the sake of this, but try to think what is the closest way in which I could lead my voices. Let's say I choose to play the 3rd and 5th of A, for example, instead of the root and the 5th. Da, 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 do, da, yeah, try to find different variations and lead the voices in a way that kind of makes sense. And I think it will just at some point it will just come in naturally. I think this is basically how I got to this level of feeling free in playing double stops over changes is first having good understanding of harmony and the arpeggios. The arpeggios, simply the arpeggios. Like if you have major 7th chord, dominant 7th chord, minor 7, you know how to play the arpeggios. That would really make it easier for you to form the double stops, because you have the shape in your mind of that arpeggio. For example, A minor 7. I didn't think about the notes of A minor 7. If you ask me what are the notes of A minor 7 right now, it will take me a little while to figure it out. So it's A, C, E, G, A. That was an easy one, I guess, but let's take A flat minor. And I even had a mistake there because I played the 9th by mistake. Okay, that was an arpeggio of A flat minor. Now, what are the notes of A flat minor? A flat minor 7, A flat, C flat, E flat, and G flat. Okay, so you see that theory takes time, but because I've practiced the arpeggios for so long, then the shape is just in my fingers. I just see the shape on the neck. And then from there, translating that into double stops is way easier. So that's another important step in taking into having control over double stops. Okay, so back to our little tune. So what I would do next after I've learned how to sing the roots, that really helps me kind of get the sound of the chord progression in my mind. I would do this. I would try to just think about the names of the chords without saying them. Okay? Now, generally, I'm a really big advocate of, well, let's hold it. I'm a really big advocate of both, singing as a way of practice, but also visualization, just using our imagination. You can go ahead and read online about the benefits of using your imagination and practicing in imagination. Like they've tested it with athletes and musicians and chess players and I don't know. I think even pilots. They did a bunch of psychological studies on this matter, and the benefits of practicing in your head have been proven timeless. Timeless. It has been proven many times. English. So I would recommend that to implement that in your practice session as well. Try to think about anything that you could practice in your head, and once you start doing it, you'll see how much that it really pushes you forward in some ways that sometimes practically doing that task will not. So this is a great exercise for memory, for memorizing chord changes. So we went over the chord changes. We played them on the guitar, played them on the violin, we sang them. Now let's just one time, let's try and say them out loud one more time for you guys. See if you remember it, and then we'll try to just do a round of just thinking about the chord changes, and then we'll try to actually do it in rhythm. Okay, so A minor, going to F major, going to C major, going to G major, back to F major, back to C major, and then our cadence D major to E major. Okay, so now let's try and say the same thing I just said, but in your head. Did you find that harder? I'm sure that there are 7 people here, so statistically it should have feel harder for some of you. Usually it feels harder, okay? When we don't have the sensory thing to latch on, it's much harder to memorize things or express things. But if you're not able to easily say the chord changes, the chord progression in your head without naming it out loud, then it means that it's not really ingrained in you yet. Okay? So this is a great audit tool as well, visualization, to know if you've actually internalized changes or notes for a musical piece, anything like that, or if you haven't. So if that was hard for you right now, then it means you need to go about doing it again. Okay, try to think about even visualize the chord as a piece of text that you kind of see in your mind's eyes. Okay, try to think about the A minor chord, literally a text of A minor, I don't know, like black over white or any other color that you like, and try again to think about to think about the chord progression. And do it in your own pace. You don't have to rush, but just want to make sure that you really thought about each chord and that you haven't skipped anyone. It's really easy to skip when you're not saying it physically. Okay, let's try again. So A minor, okay. How did that feel? Was that easier? Hello, Jennifer. So the next stage would be to add some challenge to that. Okay, let's try and sing that over rhythm. We can use a metronome. Let's take a metronome. Not sing, think. Let's try to think about the chord changes in rhythm. Not easy. Le métronome. Let's take it 40. Oh. Let me know if that's loud enough or too loud. You know what? Let's try and take it slower. It might be a little fast. So we'll raise it to like let's say 70. Even 66. Okay, so these are chord notes, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just let me go over the chord progression again in voice, just so you make sure that you got it right. 1, 2, 3, 4. A minor. C. G. C. D. E. And by head. in A. Hello, Joao. All right, so who managed to do that? Who was successful in following the chord changes in tempo? It wasn't too fast. What I'll do now, of course, Daryl. What I'll do now is kind of help you audit and recognize whether you're getting it right or not, okay? So I'm gonna name out every other chord. Okay, so I'll name out the A minor, and then we have F major, which I'm going to be silent. Then we have C major, then we have G, where I'm silent, and then we have F, which I'm naming out, and then C, which I'm silent, and then D that I name out, and then E, where I'm silent. Okay, so basically every other chord I'll just name out the chord out loud so you can know if you're getting it right. 2, 3, 4. A, C, F, D. Let's do the other way around. So F, G, C, E, and top. Okay? So this is a great exercise in itself. Right now I'm kind of helping you audit yourself with it, but this is a great exercise. Just naming out some of the chords and then laying out some of the other chords. Okay? Great way to enhance your visualization ability and internalize the chord changes better. So now let's try and play over. Let's try and jam over this chord progression. Hello everyone who joined in. I don't know if we actually have new people here. If you're joining in, let us know where you are in the world, what you're doing. I'd love to get to know you guys. So let's try and jam over that. So again, what I want to do in order to improve that ability to keep that chord, that sheet chord running in my head as I play. Hello, Katarina. So I would play over the first chord. For now, let's do it the first chord, so the first bar. I would play over it, and then through the second chord, I will lay out. Okay, I will just wait for it to pass. So this is a great exercise also for just playing with more space, you know, trying to create musical lines over one bar and then just laying out, resting for one bar until we come back with another statement at the next bar. And yeah, it enforces us to keep thinking about the changes in your head. Sorry. Let me turn that off. The WhatsApp. That steal your information. Yeah, what's happening with a lot of improvisers is because they don't they don't feel the chord changes in them strong enough, the chord progression is not internalized enough, then what would happen is that they play all over the tune, like not taking a breath for a second, because playing the notes and then like hearing if it works or not kind of helps us anchor ourselves in the chord progression. Okay, and it's a great, it's a great tool to have, but it kind of compensates for lack of knowledge of and lack of true understanding and memorization of the chord progression. So by practicing the separation of being able to play but also keep the form, thinking about the form in your head, that could really take you to the next level and to a true understanding and true ability to improvise music over any chord progression. So let's try and do that. So again, I'm gonna improvise over the A minor, then I'm laying out for the F major, then I'm playing over the C major, then I'm laying out for G major, then I'm playing over an F major and laying out for the C major, then playing over a D major and laying out for the E major 7 or E dominant 7. All right. 3, 4. And I kind of try to hear the chord playing in my head as I'm quiet. Ba-da-dum. Da-ba-da-dum. Da-da-dum. G. C. E. Okay, that's not easy. It's harder than it seems. Also, your body kind of asks to play more, and you have to stop yourself. And I think it's great when you're taking control over your urges in a way. I'm a big fan of I don't know, practice consciousness and control and free choice. Okay, when we're improvising, it's really easy to get carried away. But I actually think it's kind of contrary to what a lot of musicians will describe, but I actually think that getting carried away with the music sometimes can bring you to wrong musical places. And I'm not talking about thinking too much. Thinking too much as you play is also bad. It's more of like, it's you want to be in a position where you feel like you're an outside spectator of what you're playing. You want to feel as if you're listening to what you're playing and you're not actually playing it. And when you're able to get in that position where you kind of listen to what you play and you're not like completely masked and you're just shooting anything that comes out of your fingers, then you're able to make more informed musical choices. And and thank you, online musical arts. um, and you know that what was I gonna say? When God. So when we're able to yeah, well, the main point is that when we're able to take that breath, yeah, so Maya I've tried it, and yeah, and the focus part is challenging, right? It is really hard, and but I think this is like the mega skill that, you know, that improvisers should develop. And I think that the best improvisers, they just have it. Either they practice it or they're just super talented and they have that ability to take a breath and like and have more informed musical decisions. Which reminds me what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that we're composers, right? As an improviser, you're a composer basically. You're just composing at the spur of the moment, and you don't have the luxury of planning your musical choices. But when you're able to take a step back and be in that more collected place and listen to what you're playing, you're able to sometimes give yourself just like a split second to think in advance and to plan ahead, and to be in control over, do I want to play right now or do I want to be silent right now? Do I want to express this kind of concept now, or do I want to play, you know, something simple and pretty, you know? I never think about, as an improviser, you never think about, oh, I'm gonna play the 3rd and 7th and flat 9th degree of the next chord. That's not the level, that's not the resolution of thinking I'm talking about. But I'm talking about more like abstract and in bigger resolutions, decisions of like, am I gonna play a lot right now, or am I gonna keep it relaxed still? Am I gonna play out or in? Am I gonna play inside the grid, or am I gonna try and stretch my musical lines to kind of cross over the bar line? Just like think in terms of dynamics and density, you know? These are the kind of plannings that you are able to do as you improvise, something bigger creatively. Like, as I said, not the particular notes that you're playing, but the kind of the essence of what you're about to play. So this is a great exercise for that too, I think, because it forces you to stop playing at particular points. So you have you know, one short phrase to express yourself, and that needs to make sense. You have no shot at correcting what you played in the next bar because you have to be silent. Let's give it a shot, but from the other direction. So now we're gonna lay out on the first chord and play the second chord, and then lay out on the third chord and play the fourth chord. Try to do that with me, you know? As long as we're all following the chord changes at the same time, then it could actually sound cool together. 2, 3, 4. A, higher. How did that feel? Was that easier or more challenging? Hey Gizem, good to see you. So I'm practicing. Well, generally we're practicing improvisation. This is like a thing I do every weekend. It's called Night Practice Live. I just share my practice routine evolving around improvisation. Right now, we're just practicing playing over a chord progression of A minor, going to F major, going to C major, going to G major, back to F major, and back to C major, and to D major, and E major, and back to A minor. So the scales I improvised over are just appropriate scales for each chord. And obviously some stuff that I've added, some maybe harmonic spices over it, but simply I played over a Dorian, I would say, A Dorian mode, and then just F major, and then to C major and G mixolydian, and back to F major, to C major, and then to D mixolydian, and E flat six, or just E major for the sake of it. In order to like to figure out what are the appropriate scales to play over each chord, is this is a long process of learning different scales and modes and understanding when they apply to each chord, when it's appropriate to play them. In this case, it's just whatever whatever mode or scale that you choose to play over each of these chords. Well, first I would just recommend, especially if you're not a proficient improviser and you're just starting out, just try to improvise with arpeggios, just triad arpeggios. You don't need anything more than that. You can sound so beautiful if you just know your triads over these chords. And if you want, you can try and just like think about playing half step below, half step above, or like a step above, just kind of leading into these triads. But if you just focus your thinking around just thinking about the triad and maybe leading into that or out of that, that supplies you with sufficient material to improvise with and have a beautiful solo. So I would recommend that if you're a beginner, and if you're a more proficient improviser, you can try and play different modes, or other unique scales or unique harmonic extensions over the chords. And it's very important when what informs our decision of what mode to play or scale, because we have several options for each chord. Like for a minor chord, you can play a natural minor, you can play a harmonic minor, melodic minor, Dorian mode. There are many different options, but it's usually informed by the key signature. So right now we're in A minor, natural minor, or C major, basically. So for example, over that A, I said Dorian, but it might not. Let's say traditionally, simply, I would just play E natural minor over that, because then we have F natural, which is part of our key signature, and not F sharp, which is not part of our key signature. And same applies for the major chords in the end when we play D major and E major. So if you noticed, I played. So it's basically like it's basically like an inversion of a melodic minor scale, but you could also call it E major flat six scale, because playing a natural six over E, it gives us C sharp which is not in the key signature of C. It will sound kind of spicy. It's basically a dominant leading back to an A minor chord. So we want to think about that in the choice of what scale we're playing over that dominant 7th chord. So the most appropriate thing would be to play that major flat 6, which is basically just an inversion or a mode of the A minor melodic minor. Right? That's our major flat 6, and I keep going down, resolving it into a melodic minor. So that was a little bit about harmony. Okay, let's do. It's been an hour. You guys had enough of me, I think. But let's just quickly do. I'll show you how I practice that over a little slightly more complex chord progression of a tune called Out of Nowhere. So let's put on a backing track this time. And again, I'm gonna try and express the same concept of course, Gizem. How do I pronounce your name, by the way? Gizem or Gizem? I guess I never had to say it. Gizem is a good friend from New York City. We worked together back in New York City. Okay, so Out of Nowhere. So I'm gonna try and apply the same Gizem. All right. By the way, did you know that Omer is also like guitar? Okay, Gizem. Did you know that Omer is also a Turkish name for any of you guys who are not Turkish here? I think they pronounce it Omesh or something like that, but it's spelled the same way. And I just found out about that living in New York. I thought Omer was strictly an Israeli Jewish name. There's Omar, the Muslim version, but literally in the same spelling of the Hebrew name, there's a Turkish name. Anyway, so Out of Nowhere, I'm gonna play 2 bars and then lay out for 2 bars, and so on. So playing 2 bars, laying out 2 bars, and that enforces me to follow the changes in my head. Okay, not playing anything in these 2 bars, just thinking about what chord changes are happening there. Woo! Okay, that's a good tempo. Now it's practicing for myself. Let me play the melody first. G major. Okay. Hello, Jacques. So yeah, that was following changes while forcing yourself to lay out. Some of them first I played the first 2 bars and then laid out for 2 bars, and then I flipped it, started from basically the 2 second bars, and then laid out. So try that exercise. Even if you're a beginner improviser, take the simple chord progression that I've showed you before. Just play triads over these chords, and really try to work up your imagination and really try to work up your visualization. Think about the chord. Try to hear it in your head while you're laying out. Okay, and I assure you that practicing that for several weeks will just take your approach, will just change your approach to improvisation, and will help you towards a much more informed and conscious mind space while improvising. But again, like anything else, like any other exercise, it's something that you have to keep like brushing up those skills. It's something that gets lost. You're practicing. You start practicing something else, and you're performing a lot, gigging a lot, I don't know, playing with people, and you get back to some habits, and it's basically, it's like a habit. Being in a certain mind space while you play is something that can be practiced and something that can be made habitual, but it takes practice. And definitely, each one of us has a different starting point. We all approach improvisation or any cognitive skill that we do, we all have a slightly different approach than each other, and we can all learn how to think like someone else, basically how to approach and behave in a way that may not be natural for us at first, but after practicing something for a while, you're able to build it up as a habit. Try these exercises. Also what we did in the beginning with was just thinking about a simple chord progression and practicing it with a metronome, and practicing saying some of the, like saying the chord one bar and then not just thinking about the chord for the other bar, and then just following the whole chord progression in your head, not naming it out. And then if you're improvisers, then yeah, try to take that challenge over some more complex tunes, or I don't know, or tunes that you like playing, you know, not necessarily more complex tunes, but just other tunes that you like playing. Okay, cool. So thanks everyone who tuned in. We have here Maya and Lucy and Tanya and Gizem and Tanya. We have 2 Tanyas here tonight. So you guys are the real contestants. You guys stayed all the way to the end. Good night, Online Musical Arts, whatever your name is. Good to have you from California. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Maya. Of course, it's my pleasure to inspire you. I'm happy that you guys enjoy and learn. Yeah, I'll think about it. I might move these permanently to Sundays, because I have a feeling that more people tuned in than usual. So if that works for you guys, I think I might move this permanently to Sundays. And yeah, and if you haven't checked out the session of Ima Express, my new band, yet, the link is on my bio to a full YouTube set. It's really interesting music. And again, I have that playlist, the Spotify playlist I did of Seben Evolution, which kind of describes the evolution of this guitar music, starting from Congo and all the way to Zimbabwe, and basically to the music that influenced my composition in that Ima Express session, which I hope to elaborate even more in the near future. So thanks again. Have a good night, or good day, or good afternoon, or good week, or good weekend, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you guys. Goodbye.